All right, lights, camera, Barstool, movie and TV news time. We got some big stuff and a lot of Marvel this week. Jeff DeLoe, Ken Jack, Gooch. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and comment below. Give us your thoughts on what's going on with Marvel right now. A lot we'll get to. A lot that I'm going to throw a bit of a challenge flag on some of it. Some of it seems a little contrived, but we'll see. We'll see. Some of it seems to be bullshit. Some of it for sure is real. But I guess we'll just start out with Marvel then. Variety came out with a big article all about Marvel. Some stuff has not been debunked, but some stuff has been, I guess, reported as maybe not being fully true or maybe partially inaccurate. But there's a couple nuggets that definitely make sense. One of them being the big thing off the top that apparently, and this is the one where it's a little confusing to me. This is where this article, I was like, this seems like there's some holes here. They said that reports are that Marvel's reached out to Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, all of them to come back for an Avengers movie. And there's this whole ordeal when this article dropped that like a different Avengers movie, like Avengers 1.5 or some bullshit like that. Like, but didn't it clearly just seem to be Secret Wars off the top? Like, Secret Wars is an Avengers movie coming out down the line in a few years. There's an assumption that anyone who's ever been in anything Marvel is going to be in it. That news wasn't surprising, but it was painted as some sort of like crazy. That was the first thing for me. I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, let's get this off the top. It's Variety, which if you don't follow this kind of circle of news, like there's Deadline, there's The Hollywood Reporter, like those are your institutions. And then there's Variety, which is like, in a way, kind of the New York Post. Like they do report, but they also have very opinionated views, slanted articles. This was definitely one of them. Because when I first read that, I read it how Jeff just said, like, I was like, another Avengers movie with these guys. That sounds terrible.
And I saw Social before I read the article, and I was like, there's no way.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, it's Secret Wars. Yeah, that's always been the plan, is to bring people back.
Yeah, I feel like they do that a lot. No, but they'll kind of like backtrack on it and be like, oh well, we say rumored. And it's like, well, you don't publish it if you heard some random guy just spout some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's not a publishable thing.
Now, if they are, yeah, I was going to say, if they are trying to bring these people back for something other than Secret Wars, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It'd be a weird idea for sure. It'd be, to do like Avengers 1.5, to do what they were doing in between Avengers and Age of Ultron, or between, even Age of Ultron, after Age of Ultron, they left. So it's like there really wasn't much they could go back to. So it is a little strange. You could maybe have done something in between, because they definitely had like more chemistry into that movie. You could maybe like play off a story that they did something chasing remnants of Hydra and all that. But yeah, so that was weird. The stuff that made more sense, that seemed to be kind of like, all right, there's definitely smoke and fire here. Blade was a big one. They talked about Blade having a new writer, Michael Green, who did Logan, Blade Runner 2049. Mahershala Ali was ready to leave, which would have been that'd have been bad. Mahershala Ali being in Blade is like, what's keeping that going? It's like, he cares so much about it. It's going to apparently have a budget of under $100 million, which I don't think is that big of a problem. Like, I think they can find a way to make that good. It doesn't matter. Would be the lowest in MCU's history, but so it seems like they are pumping life into that as many times as they can. They do not want that to die. But that being a problem is not shocking. I fully believe that, because it's been the case since it started, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been a while now.
We brought it up on Hot.
It was supposed to come out the other day, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
When they announced it was supposed to come out November 3rd.
Forgot they teased the Eternals.
I remember last year they were supposed to start filming in 2022 November, and then a week before they just were like, nope, never mind. And it's weird, because this is, for as many big A-list celebrities and A-list stars as Marvel has had, no one has ever taken the reins the way Mahershala Ali has. Like, he's clearly controlling things on that project.
Good.
Yeah.
Which I love. Yeah, no, I love it. I wish more people would do it, not just the stars, but the directors, the writers. Like, if you want to make a project with me, make a project with me, not have me on the poster. Like,
the other one was kind of the big one, which isn't even like secret news. Everyone knew this, was the Jonathan Major stuff. No one really knows where they're landing on this. This article seems to imply they're trying to get away from it. Now, we are recording this before the Loki season finale, which by all accounts, and especially according to the article, And I think Eric Martin, the writer, he may, if he didn't say this, I apologize. I think he follows all of us on Twitter or something. But somebody involved with Loki said, like, it does set up Kang Dynasty. Like, it sets up Kang. And the article mentioned, like, Kang is at the end of this season. It's going to be hard to kind of go off of that. I don't know how much they're going to go. Like, I think the fact that they've seen this through as much as they have makes me think, like, there is going to still be a Kang presence there. I don't think it's going to be Doctor Doom. I don't know, but they're saying they thought about maybe replacing Kang with Doctor Doom or shifting right over to Doctor Doom. I mean, obviously the Jonathan Major stuff is a mess, and none of this is like entirely shocking, but I don't think we're going to know much more until we see this Loki finale, like really where it leaves off.
I think they
killed a Kang, who was apparently like the big one, who obviously is not the big one in Ant-Man. Obviously, it's going to be a different Kang, but I don't know. I don't know what the movies give them. They've stuck by him as is, so I don't know.
That's where I think they've kind of lucked out is like the Jonathan Major stuff is almost they can use it as an excuse to get away from Kang because Kang is just kind of stunk so far. You know what I mean? Like great introduction, Loki, no doubt about it. That's one. They're closing half an hour of a series of work, and then Kang and Ant-Man sucked. And Kang in this season of Loki's like that we haven't really seen him yet.
See, I've liked him in this, but I think in Ant-Man, I think he wasn't let
you know. It's like they have a chance here. It's almost like they have a way to escape this, and I don't even think they even need to do it for the reasons that they're going to say they're going to do it for, but they could. You know what I mean? They could be like, hey, we're just
by the way, spoiler, he is dead right now as of before this finale in Loki. Like the most recent version of it. Now there's a billion Kangs. We've seen that teased. Is. I understand it's maybe a tough character for people to connect to because you see a bunch of different variations of it.
Yeah. What I don't get is if there is a million variations of them, why not just recast them?
Yeah.
I'm so surprised
when this all started, I think that's exactly what we said, is that this is the luckiest thing about this is the fact that there's so many variations you can just recast and just be like, it's a different variant. It's not like we were just talking about Fresh Prince before this. You're not doing fucking Aunt Viv or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you literally have a built-in excuse for this.
See, yeah, but my point was going to be like, well, if they're not just like saying, oh, let's recast them, then my feeling is that they don't love the Kang storyline at all of where it's at.
True, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you think about where Thanos was at this point, where like we have Kang, like Thanos, the build up for him as the big bad was like pretty expertly done. You know what I mean? Like this was like you got 2 seconds of him, and then he was like the worst villain in Marvel, like one of the worst put together villains in Marvel and Ant-Man. And now we're just kind of like going back on him, like retreading it. And like I think it just doesn't really work that way, especially trying to follow up someone like Thanos. So like go do fucking Doctor Doom. Everyone go nuts for him, and if you do him right, no one's going to remember anything about Kang.
I mean, obviously, it seems as though Loki is going to be the controller of time here. He's going to be the He Who Remains. He's going to be the keeper of the timelines and everything. Not to get too far into the weeds on Loki, but so I don't know. Like maybe I feel like maybe they can reset it that way. I don't know. It's also worth noting that Loki is apparently going to tie very heavily into Deadpool 3, which apparently is not going to be called Deadpool 3. That's another piece of news.
I saw some of the names old Sean Levy was throwing around, and I got to tell you, he needs to keep working on them. One of them was like Deadpool apparently and like Wolvie. Like he was like, "What do you think about this one, Deadpool and Wolvie?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I don't think Deadpool's going to show up in the finale of Loki, but it's like Owen Wilson's in Deadpool 3. Like he's like it's connected to it completely, and apparently this sets up like so. I don't know how it's going to work. That one seems to be a huge leaping off point. Apparently, it's going to lead there. I've seen some rumors. The more we've seen smoke, the more I believe it with Fantastic Four. Like that's going to be in a different timeline that gets branched over. So yeah, I don't know. I think Loki being kind of the king and ruler of all this can kind of if they want to wipe away Kang. I don't know. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Again, we'll know more on Thursday when the last Loki comes out because that's like can't really say much right now. So yeah, that was Variety's article, which again the big takeaway ended up being like. Just put poorly. It was just worded terribly. It's confusing. I think they're just going to be in the movie that was announced 2 years ago or like 2 summers ago. It's very, very strange. Marvel also released a trailer for Echo, their first TV mature series. First under the Marvel spotlight. What?
What? Is there an Echo?
Nah, it's terrible.
Stupid.
Aquacox. Vincent D'Onofrio, Charlie Cox back as Vincent D'Onofrio back in the Daredevil world. Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. Hits Disney Plus and Hulu in January. First TV mature series, first under the Marvel Spotlight banner. So it's only 5 episodes. Marvel Spotlight based on like a thing they've done with the comics. And apparently other characters are going to be under the Spotlight banner as well. Potentially like a Nova, maybe some other ones like a Ghost Rider. That's like the names that have been thrown around, where it's not full-fledged series like a Loki, but it kind of just does like a quick hit on these characters, which is kind of similar to the Werewolf by Night thing, where it's a more condensed version. I think the trailer, it's Maya Lopez must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she ever hopes to move forward. I'm not like entirely amped for this. I think they cut a good trailer, but Marvel's cut good trailers in the past, and things have not always been great. So I don't know. It's a wait and see for me here.
Yeah, we've been burned too many times to like get really tremendously hyped up or something like this, unless it's something that where we have like a connection. Like if they'd cut a great trailer for Loki season 2, like yeah, we're gonna be pumped up for it because we have a proven property. Echo, we have 20 seconds of her in She-Hulk or whatever, so like that's not exactly something that we're like we have built-in trust for. But
she was in She-Hulk?
Was it Hawkeye? Whatever.
Hawkeye,
yeah, one of those
Hawkeye.
things. But yeah, so like we don't have that built-in level of trust, and so like I'll wait and see on everything Marvel for the next, and then for the basically like anytime in the near future, I will be waiting to see. I will not be letting myself fall into any hype.
Listen, I've been down on Marvel, and I agree with you all. They cut good trailers. I mean, that Secret Invasion trailer was good, but it didn't have people getting shot in the head. And that is a wild leap forward for Marvel that I honestly didn't see coming with this series. But it looks like, in terms of like the aesthetics, it looks like they're trying to emulate the Netflix Marvel series, like that tone. Will it work? I don't know, but at least they're trying, it seems. And the length, yeah, like Jeff brought up, this new Marvel Spotlight, that's where all these series should be. Like 5 episodes max, like probably 3 hours of content max. Like that's a good safe spot.
3, 2, 2-parter, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think wait and see. The gritty R-rated stuff like doesn't need to happen for me. Marvel's made plenty of good things without all that, but I know people want it, and I'm sure it'll make it, take it to a different level and be something different. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not like over the moon yet. Wait,
it's more just like trying to break out of the formula, which people have clearly grown stale on. Yeah,
very true. First teaser for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes released. Disney bought Fox and decided to continue this franchise. Continues off one of the most underrated trilogies of all. Not even underrated, just underappreciated, because it's definitely rated very well. Did some good numbers at the box office, but like still just not put up there as it should be with a lot of trilogies. Even though it's gained steam over time, and hopefully the new movie will do that. Many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike. Kind of reminded me of Avatar, the new Avatar, a little bit, by the way. Like they find like a new type of apes in like a different world. I'm excited for this. I hope it's really good. Tall task to live up to the previous trilogy. Big thing though that it's going to be missing is obviously the Caesar character, which was a huge part of the second and third for the best. And obviously the first one though, obviously Caesar was a little younger and different in the first movie. This is a little closer to the original. Obviously the humans are the ones kind of living in the jungle, and it's not quite on that timeline yet, but it's closer. Obviously, the original is much different in the way they portray the apes. They're wearing clothes and they have like politics and governments. But I don't mean the Tim Burton one, by the way. Directed by Wes Ball, college roommate, I believe, of Barry Jenkins, who has only directed 3 movies, the 3 Maze Runner movies. It's a big difference. I'm excited for this, but you want to talk about a massive wait and see. Matt Reeves did the other ones. Like this you're getting, it's a whole different ball game this time. And there's a lot of people who are like, this looks great. And I think it looks cool, but it's a trailer and it's not the same parts. I don't want to call it Sicario Dave the Soldado yet, but like I'm very similar. Like you've lost a lot of what made those first 3 great.
Yeah. I mean, the chimp thing. Here's the thing about the chimps. I like that trilogy a lot. I don't know if I want to see any more chimps. I think we left on a pretty solid note. Trailer's cool and all that. I think I've hit my limit on what I need to see out of Caesar, and I don't want no more of it. With them,
He's going to be no Caesar.
Call it an unpopular opinion. I'm done with the chimps.
New monkey, and it's got what's her face from what's that series that stunk?
We're going to get a different director to do the first one as well, by the way.
Yeah, well, who did the first one? I always forget that Matt Reeves didn't do the first one.
Rupert Wyatt. But the point being, like, you are losing a lot of, like, you're losing the greatest motion. He is, like, when it comes to motion capture, he is motion capture in Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Or as our friends from the screening of Venom say.
Oh, my God.
Andrew.
Andrew
Serkis
is going to be
Garfield? Spider-Man in this?
Andrew Serkis sounds like a character from, like, Tim and Eric or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But, like, a CIRCUS, like, that.
I'm trying to find out who's going to play the main monkey. I'm trying to find that right now.
So I don't know. I'm excited. The other ones are great. I love the Planet of the Apes franchise. Even the bad ones I love, not the Tim Burton one. I kind of have a soft spot for it. But even like the bad original ones I kind of love. Like they're still perfect from that time. But there's some things in here that are changing, and I'm not sure it's going to be a guaranteed success. Last thing, Fall Guy trailer starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, directed by David Leitch. Also stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Lee Majors. Hits theaters March 1st. Colt Seavers, a stunt man who left the business a year earlier to focus on both his physical and mental health. He's drafted back into service from the star of a mega budget studio movie, which is being directed by his ex, goes missing. What do we think about the trailer for, speaking of Deadpool, by the way, David Leitch directed Deadpool 2. Also Atomic Blonde, Hobbs and Shaw. Uncredited, did a lot of work on John Wick as well. So some good body of work there. But what do you think about the Fall Guy trailer, which sounds way too much like Free Guy, by the way?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It is a little too.
Who I assume David Leitch directed, by by the way. I kind of forgot that he didn't direct Free Guy.
That was a Sean Levy banger.
I know.
But I mean, it sounds like the video game. I mean, Fall Guys. So, but I mean, Ryan Gosling doing this is like all I need to know. He doesn't really. He did do The Gray Man like 2 years ago, which stunk. But I have some hopes for this. Some hopes. They're not very high. The 3.5 minute trailer didn't do a lot for me. Like that was a long.
We want to limit it to like 2.5 for a trailer, right? I feel like that
is so long
for an action comedy too. Like it's
based on an 80s TV series, by the way. For those who don't know that,
did not know that. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, sure, why not? Huge cast. Who else is in it?
Winston Duke,
Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, so it could be good.
Yeah, I'm very apathetic towards this, despite it starring Ryan Gosling. It's just very apathetic just based off that trailer.
Been in development since 2010. Originally, it was going to have The Rock and directed by Mick G.
I want that version.
What's Mick G been up to?
Mick G cut on a royalty check from fucking whatchamacallit,
Salvation,
Supernatural.
He was Supernatural. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he produced it. Executive consultant from seasons 9 through 15. Like that's the season everyone hates, right?
9 through 15. Real fans.
I've watched enough Supernatural. Supernatural is like it's Supernatural is not known enough. It's well known, but like I wish it was more in like the zeitgeist culturally because it's fascinating how many episodes there are of that show.
He produced Tall Girl 2.
What?
He produced Tall Girl 2 and the Josh Peck Turner and Hooch.
Wait, did he produce Tall Girl 1?
Yeah, he sure did.
Okay, I was like, imagine if he only produced 2. He was like, I gotta get in on this.
What's the last thing he directed?
He comes into the first writer's room and he's like, "What if we made her taller?"
The last thing He's got a movie coming up called just Uglies. I'm kind of interested in that, to be frank.
I don't
Ugly
know
girl.
how he got to his nickname, and I don't think I ever want to find
No,
out.
neither do I. I know I looked up his real name once and it was very disappointing, and I don't want to look it up again. It's like not related to McG, if I remember correctly, and I don't want to know any more about it. So the Uglies, what a weird
Joseph
cast.
McGinty Nickel. By the way,
Don't like that.
I saw somebody the other day reference something, and it wasn't. And we'll wrap up here. It wasn't a reference to our favorite director, but I did think about Mike Titties the other day.
Oh, Mike Titties, the best director on earth. I hope we get to interview him
the
one
best
day.
director. The best director. No, it's not Mike. It's Michael. Michael Titties.
Michael
I'm sorry.
Titties.
He doesn't have a single friend that calls him Mike or Michael. They just see him and it's the Will Arnett, when Sully comes into the restaurant in Hot Rod and he's like, Sully, all of his buddies just go, titties, titties.
Yeah, what's up, Titties?
You fucking douchebag, get over here.
Michael Titties.
Mike Titties. That's it.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's it for news. There's supposed to be some more trailers coming out this week. Maybe you have a Marvel movie in theaters, which is probably not going to do great at the box office at all. Though I'll tell you what, I talked to Gooch about this earlier. The expectations for the Marvels is so fucking low that I actually think it's going to be like probably somewhat enjoyable. Like
Yeah,
the expectations are
the pre-sale
crazy
tickets being
low.
lower than fucking like Black Adam coming out of COVID is like bad.
Oh, it's gonna
Real
bomb.
bad.
It's gonna
It's gonna
bomb.
bomb.
But
Yeah.
people are equating like the box office to like the quality of the
Yeah,
movie, which
quality,
I
yeah.
think weirdly so many young people on Twitter have
Yeah,
taken that up where it's like they think box office means how good a movie is.
but it didn't make money. It didn't make money.
That is a trend. It's definitely a trend. And I'll say it again. I hope the strike ends soon. I hope they get their fair deal. It's the same accounts that are posting about the strike, like as
We're
if they're
there with
striking
you.
with the people. It's like, oh my god,
Anyway,
you're not on strike with them. It's like, we get it. You don't like that studio, which you're definitely taking free stuff from.
oh
Mhm.
jeez.
For
They're like
sure.
taking that,
You're for sure.
oh,
You're
wait,
going
hold
to
on.
the screenings. You're
Fucking Star Wars
you're
celebration.
you're holding your koozie. Yeah, your Stanley mug with a sticker on it that says fucking Fall Guy.
I roll.
Yeah, Ken, that's there. You have the same Hitman's bodyguard robe that Ken
The
Jack
Hitman's
has. You're-
wife's bodyguard robe. And I have the duffel bag too. It's a great duffel bag. I use it all the time.
That's it. For Ken, Jack, and Gooch, I'm Jeff D. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you're watching on YouTube. That's been movie news and TV news for the week.